What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another instalment of the Talk from Dublin series. I am your host, Dan, joined here as always by Colin.
How's it going?
This is a back-to-back recording. They're not going to be released at the same time, but we were just finished recording an episode that hopefully will be coming out next week if I get the edit, or this week if I get the editing done quick enough. So yay!
On the guns.
Oh my god,
The gun debate.
Yeah. So
that was an interesting one.
oh boy, was it! But a bit. Yeah, we may be a bit tired doing after all that, but we've had our cups of tea.
We're going to power through. We've got our caffeine.
And we're going to go into developments in the Irish political sphere. So, just the other day, a new political party may be brewing in the Irish landscape. What are they called, Colin?
The Irexit Freedom Party.
Yeah, this has been a major discussion point because the whole Brexit thing is, what about Ireland? Should we do what Britain does? You know, the good old, we've left the UK, but we still have to follow it with what they do all the time.
It's like they've jumped off a cliff. So do we stay on top of the cliff, or do we jump off as well?
Yeah. Do we join in solidarity with Britain and also leave Europe? And my firm answer is, God fucking no. I ain't leaving until I see what happens to the United Kingdom after this.
Herman Kelly disagrees with you.
Yeah.
So former press officer to UKIP under Nigel Farage.
Which is a major red flag already. So he's already working with the enemy.
Yeah, exactly. Red flag immediately, right?
Yeah.
So former press officer to Nigel Farage under UKIP. So basically, he's from Derry, and he wants to start an all-Ireland party.
So for anyone not familiar, Derry is not with Ireland. That is Northern Ireland territory. So
yeah,
he is
Northern Ireland.
Oh no, he is an Irish citizen because he can choose.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, he wants to start an all-Ireland party, and the goal is to take
another side note. When we refer to all island,
yeah, well, both.
All Ireland.
You could say all Ireland or all Ireland. All Ireland is probably more.
Yeah. Oh, okay, so an all-Ireland party refers to a political party that operates both in Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland.
I think, are they the only one?
They're the only one that operates on both sides of the border.
Yeah.
Well, Fianna Fáil might be... Did they ever finish that merge?
They wanted to merge with SDLP, didn't they? Yeah, I don't think that's happened yet.
I think, but yeah.
Yeah, so...
End of side notes just to catch people up to speed.
So yeah, so their goal is to take us out of the EU, with the UK.
Great.
Their main sort of reasons are, one of the reasons is border, right? So they think, UK leaves, there's going to have to be a hard border. If the UK aren't going to put in the hard border, then they think the EU will, to protect themselves. So it's in their minds, it's going to happen anyway. They don't see the sea border as a viable option at all, which is interesting, whatever. So their thinking is... well, let's just leave as well. No hard border. We will leave as well as the UK, and that'll avoid the border. They actually, like, one of their kind of, some of their main core ideologies, they want to protect the Irish language. They're pro-life. They're kind of pro-sovereignty, so they believe we've given too much power to the EU. They kind of see the EU as like a bit of a super state, really. That's too powerful. So they want to kind of bring the power back to Ireland. So basically, the other day, they created a little event, a little conference. So to create a political party in Ireland, you need 300 signatures of people aged 18 or over. So they had their little conference anyway. Apparently there were only 250 people there.
Oh my god.
That could be a problem. If there's literally only 250 Irexiters in the whole country.
Oh God, I fucking wish.
Yeah, I wish.
That would mean so much ease, there's only 250. This could be a reflection of the opinions of Ireland when it comes to Europe. Now, we've done we'll look at some statistics, and boy, do they look good. So, according to 2018 stats...
Well, 2017 stats, first of all.
Oh, yeah, we got to show them the improvements.
Those 2017 stats... 76% of people said that they strongly agreed that Ireland should stay as part of the European Union. 12% agreed slightly, and 11% disagreed altogether.
So when we moved on to the 2018 stats, those changed to...
after the UK...
No, I was back and forth. We're going to do the back and forth here.
Yeah, okay. You gave out to me last week for you said, let me do my spiel.
Fine.
There you go, you were about to say it.
No, fine.
No, go for it. No, go on. No, go on.
No, you...
No, okay, no, go on.
What were you going to say?
No,
what was your point?
We'll just sit here.
What was your point?
We'll just sit here and say nothing.
Cool.
What were you going to say?
No.
Okay. All right. So, where was I now? Okay, 11% disagreed in 2017. Yeah. In 2018, 92% agreed, 7% disagreed, and 1% weren't sure.
Yeah. So, that's
not looking good.
Yeah, on the grand schemes of Ireland, there's probably two things that come to mind, the entire country that can unanimously agree with. One, we should be with the European Union, and two, Michael D. Higgins is mad crack.
Yeah. They're the two, you can't question those two statements.
Yeah, there's such a hard, unanimous agreement about these two facts that there's no chance of going against them. We're not going to be leaving Europe, and my God, Michael D is getting 7 more years.
Yeah, until he dies, just leave him in, literally, until
President
he pops his
for
clogs.
life.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Well, he might die in a second term.
Oh, right,
He's
okay.
not a young man. He really isn't.
Okay, yeah, well, fair play to him anyway. So, no, but I was going to say, like, you'd think maybe with the whole Brexit thing, you'd think maybe, okay, well, look, the 2018 figures wouldn't look as good in terms of maybe more people would have caught on to this whole Irexit lark. But the opposite is true.
Yeah, we've actually emboldened ourselves with the whole European identity.
Yeah, so your man Herman Kelly, anyway, he even acknowledges, like, he's come out and said, like, okay, well, look, I know it's not looking great. It's more we're looking for a kind of a small minority of people here who feel passionate about this, but. Fair play to them. They want to start the Irexit party.
More acknowledgement that the fucking United Kingdom is done with those Brexit talks.
Yeah,
they're firmly believe like no deal, we're fine. It's like, really? Are you sure?
Yeah, you sure about that? So it's going to be interesting now to see if they gain much traction. Like at the moment, these figures from the Red Sea poll don't look great. Like 7% maybe want us to leave the EU. Somewhere around that. It's between like 5 and 10%. So. They're probably not going to gain much traction at the moment, but isn't it interesting, that we're getting a party dedicated now to trying to take us out of the EU?
Which it isn't surprised because when Brexit occurred, it emboldened the whole this kind of the right wingers in Europe and also the anti-European mentality in Europe, because we've seen essentially gave the option what do you mean we can leave Europe? Brexit's the only time I ever considered the idea of leaving Europe for Ireland. I was thinking it's just a non sequitur. It's going it's not an option. We just stay here. It's good. Yeah. And you've seen this a lot. You've seen kind of Italy had kind of a lot of political elections, and they've gotten a lot of right wing support there. Poland has always been at odds with European Union. It's the only actually EU state where we've imposed sanctions on.
Yeah.
Which is so they're always at odds, and you have small groups coming up every now and again. I think Macron. In France, he dealt with his own few things.
Macron's president at the moment.
Yeah, but during that elections, it was always they had their everyone else.
Le Pen was the nationalist.
They had the kind of quote unquote Trump figure. All European nations are seeing this uptake of kind of anti-European mentality,
nationalism, sort of which keep ourselves to ourselves, sort of thing,
which isn't too surprised. Isn't it to expect when you have a massive country like the United Kingdom decide to leave?
Yeah, and we were talking about this before. We don't really have a populist right wing party as such.
No, both Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael, they're
centrist,
both
really.
Centrist, maybe leaning centre right.
Yeah.
But they're very much, they will say whatever they want to get the people's vote. They don't care. They'll go that low, and they'll essentially ask for the top 5 things we need and say we can't do that, so look at the next top 5.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 6 to 10. We might do 6 to 10. Yeah. But yeah. So and it's interesting as well. Another one of the founders, Manning, what's his first name? Paddy Manning. He first made prominence back in 2015 when, as an openly gay man, he campaigned against same-sex marriage.
I believe that's the definition of internalized homophobia.
I mean, I feel like at this point, he just wants self-sabotage.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm a gay man. Do I want to be able to marry other people? No.
I could never understand that mentality when it comes to there was a particular couple that every news outlet had to interview during the whole kind of marriage equality referendum, because they were only gay couple we could find in Ireland that didn't want same-sex marriage.
Definitely in the minority there. Yeah. So that's kind of interesting. So he also now wants to sabotage the country he's from.
Yeah.
As well, not just himself. He now wants to sabotage the whole country.
Well, as we learned through Irish history, the only better people to ruin Ireland is the Irish.
Yeah, we have to ruin it for ourselves. Yeah. And then, I suppose, another thing they throw around is how, since 2014 now, Ireland is a net contributor to the EU, right? We're paying more into the EU now than we get back. Yeah, literally for only the last 4 years.
Yep.
Right? A year now, net contribution, less than 500 million. Yep. Now, what has been our net gain from the EU since 1973?
It's about 50 billion.
It's about exactly 50 billion, yeah. So, so at that rate...
Yeah, it would take about... If it stays at half, like 500 million a year consistently, which it won't, but if it stays at that rate, after 4 years, in 96 years' time, we will break even.
Yeah, exactly. Just break even, yeah.
Yeah. It will take us to the year of... fucking hell.
Are you trying to work out 96 years from now?
It would take until the year 2114 for us to essentially pay back all the cash we've gotten back from the European Union.
100 years.
So we're going to be
net contributors.
Awfully dead by then.
Yeah. But and another interesting thing, like they throw around that kind of term like 500 million net contributors or half a billion to say. Like it might sound like a lot, right? Yeah. Now forget about the 50 billion we've got off the EU, okay?
Yeah.
500 million is 0.2% of our GDP. 0.2% of our GDP.
Quick maths, me fair. Like
it's not a lot.
Yes, okay.
It's not nothing, but it's not a lot.
Current Irish GDP is 254 billion, which is all the money we've gotten from Europe. That's a fifth of our current GDP.
Yeah.
That's actually
net.
Yeah.
That's net.
That's net. That's how much we receive.
Yeah.
And that's a lot now. No, this is my tangent. This is me, like, my tangent here. I hate this mentality of going, like, of just milking all this opportunity, all the benefits, and the second we start losing any of this, we gotta leave, gotta burn the bridges. We can't operate in these circumstances alone. Yeah. Britain, I can understand maybe about this whole, like, kind of, the whole thing, like, they spend, like, what, 300 million a week, or kind of, like, ridiculous numbers they're throwing around, because I say from the get-go, they've always been paying more into Europe than they were actually getting out.
As a bigger nation, yeah.
But it's always been the mentality of kind of European Union, so, like, you pump this money into this fund, essentially you build up the small nations, so they can finally essentially pump in more money to build up the small nations. Like,
it's almost an investment, in a sense.
Like, equal out everyone. And
by trying to build other economies in the EU, you're then gaining trading partners.
Yeah. I think it's just stupid for a lot of the Irish people to, you know, we're spending 500 we're spending 500 million more than we actually get out of Europe. Like, that's, and just forgetting the fact for 40 years straight, for over 40 years, we've gotten more money out of Europe. Like, they're a major factor of kind of how
they've dragged us out of being a third world country.
They're a major factor for our infrastructure, for a lot of kind of business being set up, for even like the reason how some farming sectors can still exist in Ireland and continues to exist. Is that essentially how we're meant to, like, we're spending too much money, forget about all the benefits, forget about all the building Europe has done, it's time to give up, burn the bridges and sink the islands.
We're paying 0.2% of our GDP now. Feck this, right? Feck the EU. They've done a hell of a lot for us, and even so, if we're a net contributor, it's not like that money's going nowhere. And another good point you made earlier was that if we put 3.2 billion into the EU and we get 2.7 billion back, how much of that 2.7 billion? Yeah. Is our government still going to actually, give to farmers and fisheries and that kind of thing?
It's the same debate and that's going on over in the UK at the moment, because a lot of like their big teams going like, we could pump all this excess money into the NHS, and like literally the day they won the election, you could be saying like, we never said that.
They said there's no chance of happening.
There's huge debate and going like, well, where's all the money we're going to be losing coming from? If they are net contributors. There you go. If that's Britain's current circumstance for Europe, are they actually going to refund? Are they going to continue funding all the projects that Europe? Like on our second podcast we've done in Northern Ireland, we found that Theresa May said she would secure the funding for Northern Ireland for the farming and kind of other industrial sectors in the north they got from Europe, but they never hammered out an agreement to continue fund the peace process that comes from European Union.
Yeah. So
if we're seeing the United Kingdom where they have like our larger excess to deal with, and there's still a lot of concern of like not everything's going to be funded, how do you think we're going to deal with where it's only 500 million? Going like, that's a lot of money, but for countries that's just pocket change.
Yeah, really, like
it's not much.
It is a lot of money, but like, it's 0.2% of our GDP. Again, like that, like, okay, still a good amount, but it's also going to funds to help other EU countries. It's not like this money is just being pissed away. Like, either.
We're not burning it.
We're not literally pissing away the money.
A pile of, I want to see that image, like a pile of 500 million euro against for like the whole Dark Knight.
Just for the crack.
Have you seen the Dark Knight, the Batman film?
Years ago,
yeah, like the whole like kind of like the Joker thing where you seen like he's given like half this mountain of cash, and he just burns half it down.
Yeah,
It's like,
the EU is the joker. They're burning all our net contributions.
some people just want to see the world burn.
Yeah. So, so I mean, even so, right? Like as you were saying, like how much of that 2.7 billion are we going to get back? We might actually be worse off because our government might not prioritise certain areas that the EU would.
Yeah.
That is actually beneficial for us.
It also takes so long to get things done. Like,
they wouldn't.
You want to hear some amazing news I just heard the other day? We're only now Michael D. Higgins is only now going to be given the legislation to sign off to repeal the 8th Amendment.
Yeah. Well, because it wasn't there a
the
high court challenge.
Yeah, there was all but that was like 6 months ago.
Yeah, it takes a long time.
This is taking 6 months just to do something we've already voted on and agreed on.
And that's not even long in political terms.
Yeah.
Like
it
other
isn't.
things
and
could take
that's
years
something
and years.
the public had control on, not like the Dáil or anything like that.
Yeah.
So imagine the Dáil trying to pass legislation to take all the funding they give to Europe, pumping into all the sectors that Europe pays for, and then trying to figure out what to do with this extra 500 million. It could go to better places, like if we actually had that.
Imagine won't.
But imagine like having the extra 500 million to the housing sector, or the medical sector, or literally everything. But you want to know what actually happened in reality? You just go into the fucking pockets of the politicians.
Our rainy day fund. It won't go into the pocket of the budget. It'll go. We have an actual legit thing that we call the rainy day fund.
Yeah, we're
so Irish.
Yeah, we're so unprepared to rule a country.
It's like on our official budget. It's like, this billions going to healthcare, education, rainy day fund. It's like they don't even come up with like a proper term for it. It's just listen, lads, if the economy gets ruined like it did after the Celtic Tiger, well, at least we'll have a little rainy day fund. So,
but there's also so much more for this whole European debate because
one more thing actually before we go on, that 500 million. How much are we owed by Apple in corporation tax?
13.5 billion euro.
You get what I'm saying? Like we don't even want to take the 13.5 billion. It's like I don't know. I mean. Yeah, I think that kind of point they're trying to make it sound like an enormous deal.
Yeah. But the whole part of Europe, like, there's so much benefits we get from that, and one of the big things here is trade. So all these stats for trade, all these stats I'm using from January 1st of 2017. So we send in a lot of goods to Europe. Now, 49% of our exports go to Europe, and that is factoring out the United Kingdom. So that's how it's going to be when the UK leaves. And when you break it down to overall, guess what the biggest nation we send all our goods to?
Ooh, in the EU.
No, this is overall.
Okay, so
so a quarter of all Irish exports go to this nation. This is 2017 figures. Things may have changed.
Okay, a quarter of all our, and you're saying it's not the UK.
It's not them.
Okay, and you're not going to tell me whether it's another EU country or not.
No.
Okay, I'm going to go America.
Belgium. Belgium's the highest exporter of all nations in the world that take our goods.
Belgium.
Yeah.
That's actually really surprising.
Yeah, it is. That's a lot.
That's actually
I don't know what they're taking from us.
Yeah,
it's then followed by the United Kingdom with 17%.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a major factor with Brexit.
That's unbelievable. Belgium. Yeah,
it is.
That is amazing.
They're more than half of all exports that go to Europe from us.
Yeah. Because there's got to be something behind that, though.
Probably,
there's something shady behind that.
They like the Irish beef.
There's got to be something shady behind that.
Irish beef and Irish whiskey.
Right,
But see, that's nearly half of all Irish exports. It goes into the European free market while factoring out Britain. And if they get a trade deal with Europe, then our exports to Europe jump up to 66%.
Yeah.
So that's a huge amount of Irish goods go through the whole free trade section in Europe. To essentially give up on that and try to renegotiate it.
As such a small nation,
I'd be horrible. Like Britain,
it's already tough enough for Britain.
Yeah, and the United Kingdom with 80 million behind them as one of the kind of the big nations of Europe. They're getting stonewalled throughout the whole negotiations. If we try to go in acting tough, it'd be impossible.
Yeah, Theresa May had to go around Africa doing fucking tribal dances to try and secure trade deals.
Yeah,
did you see that?
Yeah,
it was the cringiest thing I've ever seen in my life.
She was going around, even it's come to the point in UK where they're even trying to talk to individual nations, bypass the whole European negotiations. How desperate they're getting at.
Yeah, but if it's that tough for such a large country to be able to negotiate their own trade deals, it's going to be very difficult for us.
I know, for Britain, where it's well known for British goods, has a big enough internalised economy itself, it has a lot to offer for the rest of Europe. Where we do have a good bit, but it's more we're not the United Kingdom.
Yeah,
When it comes to that, we're just not.
We might even like have an over reliance on the UK if we were to leave as well, right? On the basis that okay, well, we want to maintain our trading partnership with the UK. If we then go, okay, it's going to be too difficult to negotiate these beneficial trade deals with other countries now that we've left the EU, we might have an over reliance on the UK. We'd be like, sure, look, we'll just cozy up even more to the UK. We'll try and increase our exports. Us two kind of nations will try and work together outside of the EU. We might become even more reliant on the UK than we already are now.
And it's already pretty bad because we've come to realise with some of their more extreme politicians, like what was the guy that I mentioned like a couple of weeks back when we were talking?
Rees Mogg.
Mogg.
Is it Jesse Rees Mogg? No,
I can't remember. But like he was throwing some like bold statements around, perfectly plausible, but a true statement as well. Like he was kind of mentioning about like the Irish beef economy. Like we send in £800 million. That's in weight, not in currency,
not in the sterling,
of Irish beef into the United Kingdom. Any form of tariff on that could ruin the Irish beef industry, which is like insane to think about. That like a bad trade deal could ruin an entire agriculture sector for Ireland. Now, this is only if nothing changes. Like Irish beef is, Colin was telling me, seen as this quality good already. Yeah, it's already more expensive, but you get a particular quality.
Yeah, it's almost like Kobe beef in Japan.
Yeah,
it's seen as a premium product around the world, so they will pay a bit extra for it. It already does very well. It's highly sought after because we've one of the highest and most stringent quality assurance sort of setups in the world. Yeah. So I mean, even if it got more expensive, even if there were tariffs, it is kind of seen as a premium product.
It also doesn't...
but also I was going to say is we could then increase our trading with France, Germany, other EU countries.
Because if a no trade agreement with Britain, that means English goods going to be heavily tariffed. So we don't know like how much more Irish goods be pumped into Europe, and also Japan, because I know Irish beef is meant to be a big factor in that trade negotiation in the trade agreement that happened with Japan. So
and they've got rid of dairy quotas there a few years ago. So in Asia now as well, there's a huge kind of emerging dairy market in Asia. So
so like in a vacuum, British tariffs on Irish beef would be monumentally destructive. But thank God we don't live in a vacuum.
And as well, I think EU countries are going to band together to support us.
Yeah.
If it just makes sense. Like if they support us, they will have the support themselves. That's the foundation of the EU. That's why we're a net contributor now, and that's why we were a net beneficiary. Other countries supported us. We grew our economy, and now we're able to contribute to them. Yeah. So that you'd have to imagine like they're going to rally around us. They don't want us leaving the EU as well now. No. So if the UK leave, I think a large portion of the UK exports to the EU, maybe we can fill some of those gaps. Yeah,
and then the other major factor of us being in Europe is like the amount of foreign investment we get into the Irish economy. Like that alone is its own thing. Like I do not like the fact that the Irish economy is so reliant on foreign investment.
Yeah.
So that it does put in a very fragile state to the point where if we were to leave Europe, we could see all that like just disappear and the entire economy could collapse on itself.
Yeah, that's rough. Like because the amount of institutions that are leaving the UK. Yeah, now they've left. We're a really small, highly open economy, so we can be hammered. Any sort of external factors, it can have a devastating impact on.
And even with like the lowest corporation tax at 12.5%, we're still getting like stuff like Apple get like 0.2%.
Yeah, the actual amount they pay is microscopic.
For the massive like multinational companies, they pay so much less, and so much less than the 12.5%, which is the lowest corporation tax in Europe. So for a lot of the international stage, we are seen as like the back door into Europe, the easy way of like setting up the business, doing some weird trade loopholes so you don't have to pay zero tax, and then funneling all the goods into the European Union. Yeah. And even with our low corporation tax, we still get overlooked for a lot of businesses for the rest of Europe because they have bigger economies, bigger local economies to work off that.
But we are the target of a lot of investment because we're English speaking, highly educated economy. We're in the EU. Yeah. It's a smart place to set up.
EU is probably one of the biggest factors in all that. If you take that away, we'd lose so much business, so much income would just disappear. Yeah. I know like there's always like big arguments going about like the low corporation tax. So you have companies that pay essentially nothing, but we do get the benefit of the employed workforce. We get the taxes from them. With their income, they pay more, so that's more localized cash being thrown into the economy, which is like all the knock-on effects of why I think economics nearly sounds like magic bullshit that makes no sense half the
It all
time.
works out in the end. But now I actually am quite critical of our corporation tax.
But we all are.
I'm highly critical of it.
Oh,
but that's for another podcast.
But
It does have its benefits, and,
Oh,
and it does affect our economy massively. Like, maybe you could say, okay, we need to reduce our reliance on that, but at the moment we're heavily reliant on it.
And,
if we leave the EU, that's gonna really
to leave Europe.
damage us.
The more you look at it, it'd be too monumental to leave Europe. Like Britain, they have this mentality. They think they could like survive on their own, and they might. Like they have like. They probably have one of the better opportunities compared to the rest of Europe because they have such a large population. A lot are they have like a very big British industry, so their reliance on foreign investment isn't too much. Like,
not as drastic as ours.
Yeah, so like they could see maybe some hardships, but they might actually come out and get a positive at this. But because of Ireland's small population, our reliance on such a huge reliance on foreign investment, the economy would tank. We could be nearly looking at such a bad period back in the 70s.
Or back 10 years ago, the even worse after the Tiger. But
the 70s was worse than the recession.
I
after
know,
that.
yeah. But
except we had the fancy infrastructure now, just no jobs.
Yeah, true. But
let's see the housing crisis cope in that.
No chance.
You probably see a mass migration the worst in Irish history nearly after that. Like, like if we left Europe, that would probably it'd be the worst point of in modern Irish history.
Yeah,
you would see.
It'd be a big blow. It really would be a big blow.
Like you'd see jobs no longer coming in. I say this is probably a bold statement. I say it could be the worst migration you'd ever see since the famine.
Oh, I was glad you mentioned since the famine, because I was like, nothing's gonna beat the famine anytime soon.
Oh yeah,
but since,
probably,
I mean, then again, I mean, if we were to go into recession after leaving the EU, and it was worse than our most recent recession, our most recent recession, we had hundreds of thousands net emigration out of the country. Yeah. So we could,
it's the consequence is just too much. It's also very uncertain because we should have the approach of, let's see if Britain crashes and burns.
Yeah, exactly. Don't be too preemptive.
Like, if they struggle, and if they're like barely keeping their head above water, then we're just going to drown pretty badly in this whole thing.
They have a life jacket. We don't.
We got
metaphorically, we really
nothing.
Yeah. So then you have to question what would be the benefits then if there's so much potential catastrophe that could happen.
Yeah.
A lot of the words that'll be thrown around is increased sovereignty. Okay.
Yeah. Which is a benefit. That is a positive to leaving Europe.
Okay. So
benefited out here.
How big of a scale would that benefit be? How much extra sovereignty that we don't have at the moment would we have when we leave the EU? Can you think of anything major that we're literally being forced to do now? Or that we're not allowed to decide for ourselves now because of being in the
if Article 13 gets passed, we lose our memes.
Okay. Yeah.
The
meme economy will crash.
But this is going to look pretty bad if I upload this afterwards and they actually vote to keep it in.
Yeah.
They're going oh shit. Like, for me, like, personally, if that does get passed, that is my only reason I want to leave Europe. Oh no, it's just
make you leave Europe.
Is so destructive towards the internet.
Wait and see what happens with it.
Yeah,
if
but
it
again,
gets passed,
that is my one negative to all the monumental
There's
positives.
so many positives, but even then, it's difficult to think of what sovereignty we're being denied. Of course, there's examples. One of the examples is fisheries that they will.
A big debate in Ireland that's been going on for years.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's okay, don't get me wrong. There's definitely we've given up some fishing rights, 100%. But we also have a lot of benefits as well with the common fisheries policy in terms of like conservation, protecting our oceans, limiting the amount of overfishing. Like, if we kind of went to a free-for-all system where we just fish the crap out of our oceans outside the EU, we would literally deplete our stock so much that it could take generations to actually get to a point again where
it's also thinking like, would we even have enough hindsight and enough like kind of enough drive to even put in the restrictions the European Union have passed to help the fisheries across all EU states because honestly I don't think the government would. They're so slow moving, it just won't happen.
And if we're in full control again of our waters and we're trying to be the only nation that can fish in our own waters, and therefore we get all the economic benefit. We're gonna have to heavily invest into our naval services.
Yeah.
Obviously, to try and actually police and control the waters, because if we go from, at the moment, I think it's 7% of our waters are fully controlled by us and only us. 7%.
Wow.
We also have one of the largest sea to land areas in the entire EU. It's 10-1.
Wait, what does that mean?
The area that's considered Ireland, that sea, is 10 times larger than our land area.
Ha!
Yeah, literally.
Wow.
We have one of the biggest ratios in the entire
Well, the
EU.
benefits of being an island.
So if we had to police an extra 93% of our waters, also like these figures that get thrown around,
to
like
paint the picture, the Irish Navy is just 6 lads in a boat.
Yeah.
With a sniper, like
just having the kettle on
I'm putting
24/7.
It's like us being like, we have invested feck all to our military because it's not a major factor of kind of like of Ireland itself. Like we're well known for having a highly trained like special forces unit, but our air force is just one lad in a plane.
Yeah.
And a navy, it's like
few lads
it's
on a
like
boat. No,
six big boats and Jerry with a sniper.
I will say, actually, though, they have actually completed some really successful drone busts. No, seriously. They actually do good effective work.
We do
good work.
We do effective work, but that's the Guard, not the armed forces. It's different.
No,
departments.
naval services. The naval services are
really?
involved. Yeah, the naval services are. No, I'm not talking about land.
Oh,
I'm talking about the naval services. Like, have had some massive like cocaine seizures. And, like they actually do a good job. But
why
have
did
you not heard of it?
No, I never
Young
heard those
Offenders
stories.
was based on a true story.
I know that. Okay, that was because a fucking ship. Like shipwrecked off the course of
I know. I'm just saying,
but we think so little of our military. Essentially, we don't like those stories never hit the public.
We don't fantasize our military and our armed services as America do. Not to say they don't do an important job, but they
on the priority list.
It's just different. It's just
like
different.
if we had to have full naval, like we had to take full responsibility of our waters. Like our military budget would go straight through the roof, and a lot of stuff we get, like our Navy, a lot of it is kind of second-hand stuff we buy from other nations as well. So the fact that we have to put all our trust into the Irish military, going, we got to protect everything's like, what?
Yeah, but
what do you mean we have to defend this nation? We never signed up for that.
Yeah, but even so, then we're gonna have to find markets to export all this extra fish we magically have now. Like it's not a guarantee. Like you've European skeptics saying like
eurosceptics.
To
shorten
that's a better word than I said.
See, this is why I'm
it's
the
getting
journalist.
Late now. I'm getting. Oh, hold on now. I'm usually the one. You're usually the one going like, fucking like, oh, what was that word again? I'm like, bam, bam, bam.
But
bam,
I think of the buzzwords.
Huh?
I got to think of the buzzwords for the articles. Eurosceptic is so much more.
Yeah.
Compact.
It's late, and I mean, look, I only had like 3 extra fucking letters, so give me a break, right? Okay. Anyway, so the Eurosceptics, a lot of them will say we could have had billions and billions in extra revenue. I think we could definitely have had a lot of extra revenue, but I don't think it's anywhere near the figures they're throwing.
Not factoring the increased spending in our Navy, the massive depletion of our fish stocks.
Overfishing.
The overfishing, because of course we're going to fucking do that. We're gonna milk those cows here to
and
dry.
then also trying to find export market. Like if there's other, for example, trawlers in our waters for other EU nations that fish and sell that fish to their own economies. It's not necessarily a guarantee either that they're going to import every single bit of that fish that they would have from their own vessels from us. You know? Because then that money is going out of their economy.
Yeah, and if we're also outside of Europe without a trade deal, there would be taxes on top of that.
Exactly, tariffs and all blah blah blah. So it's
it's again thinking in a vacuum.
Yeah, I feel
not
like
looking at reality.
Yeah, and they definitely have a point, but it's just not as much of a sort of a doomsday be all end all point, and then they're making it out to be. There are two main points like fisheries and our net contributions. I just can't see those two negatives ever outweighing all the positives.
No,
I just don't see it.
It's not there.
Like they might have some decent points, like our extra sovereignty as well. We'd have more control over our interest rates. So one of the things in the crash, really we got kind of shafted by interest rates that were set by the ECB as well. So they have some points, but I just don't think.
The positives just completely outweigh the negatives at this stage.
I just don't think the negatives are big enough to outweigh all the positives.
I don't think it's a scenario where like it's neck and neck. It's going like there's just no way to compare the two. I wouldn't a firm believe that the positives are just too great compared to the few
at the
negatives
moment,
we've found.
at least, yeah.
But again, this is only one point of view. If you haven't realised, we're pro-European.
Yeah,
we like the
100%.
European Union. I like
It's
the
a nice
fact
old union.
I can go to
grand.
Germany without a visa and get drunk.
Yeah,
And
even though we haven't done that yet, so we're gonna have to plan that soon.
get around it there
Yeah.
soon enough. But we are in the first. If ever it comes to vote for Irexit, we're going to be firmly saying no.
Yeah.
I want to stay in this union.
Yeah, feck off Farage, get out of our politics, and Herman
Oh,
Kelly.
oh
so-
my god, I can't. That man pisses me off so much.
Farage.
Oh, because
Oh
he
my
had the audacity, man,
The audacity!
to state that he thought it was like complete nonsense. You had foreign nations interfering with the affairs of Britain, telling them what they should do,
And now he's
then
off on a fucking global tour around the bloody world trying to convert everyone into nationalists.
Come to our shores, come to your ass and tell us the Irish what they should do with their nation. But man, he is English. It's just in their history. It's just in their nature to tell a foreign nation what they should do with their affairs.
That's controversial.
Well, I'm just filling in my quota of referencing of we were colonised.
Yeah, we didn't have that many references today. We didn't have too many, British occupation references.
Everyone gets one.
Yeah,
Every podcast gets one, and
at least one.
I'm 90% sure we've consistently mentioned either the Ra.
Yeah, that's one of our but
British colonialism
Yeah.
or fuck the British.
It's a joke at this point. That you have to have what isn't there a proper term for this?
A running gag.
I guess so, yeah. But
Sure.
it's not necessarily a gag, but you have to have a running team that threads through every single podcast, and that's pretty much ours at this point.
The Talk from Dublin podcast does not condone or support any form of violent nature towards the British about the United Kingdom, Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales, England, or any aggressive nature towards any of those nations. Every comment we mention about British colonialism or anti-British sentiments is purely joking, and for the love of God, people, if you genuinely think we're serious, you gotta talk to more Irish people. This is the common joke with the people here. Slag off the British and have a pint.
Yeah, I hope they know we're not serious at this point. I really
if the English are listening, going to take it serious, like how they're taking Black 47 a bit too
Oh
serious.
yeah. We won't even get into that at the moment. But we want to colonise Northern Ireland, Dan. We want to colonise.
Why do I feel like
we're being racist towards the English?
Yeah, why do I feel like there's going to be probably a review saying Black 47 is racist propaganda towards the English population?
There's probably already reviews like that.
Well, just stating fact. And unfortunately, seeing that film, it's like, again, tangent on Black 47, like looking back and going like, recognising literally all the oppressive natures the British use like on the Irish people. Unfortunately, it's very sad to say like this is factual information.
Yeah.
This is Ireland's history.
Based on a true story.
Yeah, based on historical events.
We're not saying literally the feckin' movie is word for word.
Yeah.
But
if you literally take away the revenge story, it is an amazing representation of the famine.
Yeah.
From my own understanding of the
a
whole...
lot of it was quite good.
Oh yeah, like all of it was actually very accurate, and like from my own understanding of the whole event. And it's hard to see for like I know like a lot of the kind of English broadcasters just do certain things to rile up the Irish. Like Sky just consistently always refer to like as
Pope
Irish
was
people.
landed in England.
Yeah, like they purposely do that just to rile up the country to get clicks and all that kind of stuff. But it's concerning and surprising that so many genuinely comments reviews when it comes to Black 47 of English people truly believing this is a racial stereotype of the British of like the English population, and not fully understanding that this.
Do they realise it was
happened.
set in 1847 for a reason? It's historical. Do they understand that we can't be racially stereotyping them today?
Yeah,
it's a historical depiction of what actually happened. Do they understand that?
The Talk from Dublin podcast once again
here we go.
holds no grudges towards any current English people what happened in the past. We're just pointing out the flaws of history, and we'll hold if anyone alive from England 1847 that was involved during the famine's lives today, I'd gladly punch them, but not anyone today, because I know they are not responsible for their ancestors' actions, and just nothing can be done at this stage.
Yep.
Don't take this shit too seriously.
Good disclaimer.
I feel like it should be...
We need to copy and paste that now at the start of every single podcast.
That's a great way to start
we really should just start with a PSA every single time. We're going to talk about the Ran Brits but we don't really mean it. Okay, let's get into the podcast. So yeah, that's a good disclaimer to start.
So closing arguments is pretty easily. Do we support Irexit?
No.
Do we think Ireland should stay in the European Union?
Yes.
We're done here.
There we go. It remains to be seen how well the Irexit Party will do. I have a feeling it won't do too well.
Yeah.
But we'll wait and see.
Also,
it's interesting.
We have also referred to as a party. They are not officially a party. Is also a major factor.
I really hope they didn't get enough signatures. That would just be perfection.
So to be a political party in Ireland, you need 300 signatures from people with 18 years of over. Current reports put them down to 250. And the fact that
some sites were saying 300 or 400,
but the fact they haven't officially registered as a party, like
they haven't announced yet that they have enough signatures, which is actually
that
hilarious.
should be a big flag because they wouldn't wait.
They will get the signatures, but we
but
know
I'm pretty
they
sure
will. But
they weren't gonna wait. Like the fact they haven't announced should be the red herring here.
But they rented out a fucking conference room that held like bang on 300 people. Like you think like Jesus, we'll just make sure we'll get like a 400, 500 seater just to make sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, they will get the signatures. They probably will become a political party. They probably won't get much support. Yeah. But it's interesting that we finally have an Irexit party.
The last only point we should make here is that for anyone who is listening, who is from Ireland and all that, and is disregarding them as much as me and Colin we are today, should just take their points of view to heart, essentially, because this is currently a political movement. There are people in Ireland that do feel that we should not be in the European Union for our own support, and I feel like if we completely disregard this opinion,
we can't alienate them.
Yeah, if we do what Britain did, literally accept do fear mongering and literally going like we leave Europe, everything is doomed, and not accepting the fact that like there is legitimate arguments not being in Europe. We're not denying that, and we shouldn't deny the fact that there are people in Ireland feel that Ireland would be better off outside of Europe. It's pretty easy to hear some of the stuff they say, think like you're talking shite, but it's still
but not all the time.
But it's still best to recognise going like when they do give legit reasons, like the sovereignty is a legit that is a legit argument, and the fishing rights is also a legit argument to have. Recognise what they actually have there, and weed out all the
work
crap
towards reform rather than just taking the knee-jerk reaction of just let's get out of Europe. They may have some valid points, and that's something we could definitely take on board and look at and try and help reform the EU if we see major issues. I suppose England tried to do that, or Britain tried to do that, and that's what eventually caused their exit. They tried to get a reform deal, and it got denied, and then they left. But I mean, so as you said, the important thing is not to alienate them, not to kind of like marginalize people who genuinely do think the EU has problems. And I mean, there'll be a lot of people giving out that we're giving them too much of a platform. And I feel like there will be people, but I think it's quite important to be able to give every side a valid platform, and then to be able to critique them logically. Instead of just shutting down discussion, let them have their platform and then engage in a discussion as to why it's not beneficial for our country.
This could be like one of the faults of media. Someone's can always contribute like your percentage of media coverage doesn't correlate perfectly on the amount of people that reflect those rules. I mean those kind of views. Like if it does seem they get a lot of traction in the Irish media, it's not a perfect correlation of that's the proportion the Irish people actually believe in it. But it's controversial, so people want to read it. And I say we'll probably finish up this episode here. So thanks again for listening. And we actually have nothing planned for next week for once. We're going to take a few days to think of something to talk about.
We do. We've one in the backlog, don't we?
Shit, actually we do.
No, that's
more Brexit.
That's true.
That's in the backlog.
Okay,
we're not going to stop talking about
Brexit.
Yeah, we'll stop talking
the
when
trilogy,
it's finally done.
Brexit, the trilogy. We've done 2 now. We're going to do the third.
No, we've done the North. We've done us. Now it's just tackle the rest of Great Britain.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, so we will talk to you next time.
Right, see you then.